But also remember, the Constitution was drafted in 1787, or at least sent out for ratification in 1787, right? It's close on the heels of the American Revolution. And there were loyalists still amongst the colonists. There was still buzz about people like, I don't know, Benedict Arnold. There were still people who were worried about the loyalists who were trying to undermine the new republic. So things like treason were very, very much in the minds of
Very
the
real.
lawmakers. We just created this country, goddammit. We don't want to see it get undermined and tossed in the trash. So Section 3 talks about treason against the United States shall consist only in levying war against them or in adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort. You've heard that phrase before in recent years. No person shall be convicted of treason unless on the testimony of 2 witnesses to the same overt act or on confession in open court. But they delegate then from there, Congress shall have power to declare the punishment of treason. Article 3 of the judiciary in the first part of Section 3 will have the right to deal with treasonous acts against the United States. It is a federal crime. So it goes into the federal court system.
But that is really the only place that you will ever find something specifically defined and enumerated within the Constitution. It says specifically treason. This is the definition, and this is how that it's up to you how it's punished. But this is a crime, and it was that significant, and that it was that near and dear to them, where and such a concern that they felt it was that important to include specifically as an article, as a provision under Article 3, outlining the powers of the judiciary. I think that one of the things is that I really sort of look back and laugh about, and we'll discuss about this more in the rant session as well, is how back in the in the early 1800s and even in the mid 1800s, the judiciary was seen as the least dangerous branch of government.
Yep.
And I think that the judiciary has now become one of the most active branches in the entirety of government. I think it's grown beyond what our founding fathers had ever envisioned as far as getting involved in. But
And it gets
again,
to the
that's
same argument that we talked about last week in Article 2 in our rant session. We talked about the executive orders when you had certain presidents who said, hey, if it doesn't say I can't do it, I'm going to do it, versus the presidents who were the constitutionalists and say, whoa, 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 I can only do what's been given to me. And so we have the same concern here in Article 3 with some judges and the way
activist
the
judging.
judges, whether district court, whether whatever level, people, you hear the phrase, oh, that was an activist judge or a radical judge. Well, what does that mean? Are they doing something illegal? No, they never say that. They said there's some people who do things, judges, because it says like it's in that gray area where I say I can't. And there are other judges who are the constitutionalists who'd say, whoa, 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 I can only do this prospective thing about a case in controversy that comes to me, and that's all I can look at. So again, foreshadowing the rant session next week.
Yep. Bring a lot of this along because it's going to be interesting. 2 lawyers arguing about law in the courts.
I think we have enough of that. We can bring a couple of bottles. It's all good.
Jesus. Oh my goodness.